Hey there, intrepid mystery lovers. We'll be back to your regularly scheduled programming in just a moment, but I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to Metropolis. Metropolis is a retro sci-fi mystery with a seriously stacked cast and an awesome story. We here at Englewood really enjoy the Metropolis vibe, so if this sounds up your alley, then we hope you enjoy this little taste of the show.
City services. Welcome to Metropolis.
My God, how can this all be?
The whole world works just the way they want it to, however they want it. That's Metropolis.
Stanley, where is he?
What do you know?
I don't know! He's just vanished!
You have taken an incredible risk coming here.
It's a cage.
There is something very dark happening.
You know what we have to do.
Shh.
No one ever dies in Metropolis. Spend a minute here.
Metropolis, the audio drama. Available on all of the major podcasting platforms. Spend a minute here. See if we're not wrong.
Welcome to Englewood After Dark, Episode 20, Mix and Mend. Englewood After Dark is a serialized horror audio drama, and for the best experience, we recommend starting with Episode 1. Content warnings for this episode include supernatural happenings, discussions of death, and conspiracy talk. For those of you enjoying Season 1, we've recently started an Indiegogo campaign to help fund the next season. So if you'd like to see more from the Englewood After Dark crew, please use the link in the description to check it out. We've got a long way to reach our goal, but if everyone contributed at even our lowest tier, we'd reach it in no time. So, if you can, we'd really appreciate your support. Thanks, everyone. Hey there, intrepid mystery lovers, and welcome back to another episode of Englewood After Dark. As always, dear listeners, I am your rock star host, vocalist, and leader of this five-man band of miscreants, Finn Nightingale. And this here is my trusty co-host and lancer on the guitars, Eve Pemberly.
Wait, why am I the lancer?
Because you're pointier than me, more dark and brooding, and a foil to my chipper attitude.
First, I'm not brooding. Second, I think you're the foil to me. And third, you're the one who got upset and embarked on a failed solo career to prove yourself. And that makes you the lancer.
Oh yeah? Failed? My failed solo career to prove that ghosts are real? Which they definitely are, and I definitely did. Ha! Vocalist! Woo! So anyway, we have some guests in the studio tonight. Please welcome the brains of the band on the keyboard, October Jones.
I think this metaphor is falling apart.
I actually did play the piano.
I've also played the piano. A bit of violin too, and the cello, and the...
Hey, no. You can only be one instrument, Chuck.
Chuck is also here. As you can see, it's quite the full studio tonight. And we're also going to have a special guest shortly.
Yep. Courtesy of October, we'll be chatting with Lilo Meyer, who will be sharing her spiritual experience. October?
I'll let Lilo reveal what we went through, but I did my part to help a friend of hers. When Eve and Finn reached out, she was happy to come forward and share.
Alright, well, that brings us to our next point. Finn and I have been reaching out for stories about ghosts and other supernatural events on campus, and... wow.
I got in trouble mid-lecture because my phone kept going off with Twitter notifications.
Why wouldn't you mute your phone in a lecture anyway?
It was on vibrate. That's not normally an issue because normally my phone isn't vibrating every 10 seconds.
You all had a lot to say. Some of it very interesting.
Hey, you recently discovered that ghosts are real. Maybe cut our audience some slack.
Even the skeleton Illuminati guy with the bone-spiracy.
Okay, that guy was crazy. You'd make a great writer, though.
I get that we're pushing a narrative that's difficult to accept without first-hand experience, so I'm not surprised that our inbox is full of controversy. I'm just surprised by how intense it all is.
Some of our listeners think we're making this all up. Still, after everything we've been through.
Well, it's hard to blame them.
I think it's easy to blame them. They've listened to even you, Lady Killjoy, go from skeptic to believer. Do they think that was an act?
Eve's right. Being told about supernatural phenomena and actually experiencing it for yourself aren't the same. There's a great deal of difference between the two.
Can't believe you're taking her side.
Sorry, bud. I experience these things very personally. I know how I sound to people who don't have those same experiences.
You must also consider that audio evidence is easily spoofed. Even video evidence is possible to manufacture. If someone is trying too hard to convince you that the supernatural exists, then they have an agenda.
Fine, traitorous guest stars.
Oh, please. As if you don't have enough loyal fanatics supporting you.
Yeah, I was getting to that next. We've had an outpouring of support from some listeners, and while we appreciate your faith in us, you absolutely cannot wait outside Finn's classroom or stalk him through campus to share your stories with him.
Some of them were nice?
Yeah, and some of them were menacing. Don't enable them, Finn already abducted once, Nightingale.
Yeah.
If you have something you'd like to tell us, please message our social media and don't follow us around campus. I will call the police. Or worse, I'll call Carmen.
Carmen is definitely worse.
Could you imagine how easy this would be if we could just sick Carmen on Lionel Wench?
We need a ghost knife of our own, at minimum.
Right? Though I don't know how we'd get a ghost knife.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
No.
Well, we need something to fight Wench, and we're not about to go the complete as unfinished business route. I prefer my Eve alive and unstabbed.
Thank you, Finn. Since we can't satisfy whatever binds Wench to this world, because it's probably really fucking creepy, we need a more aggressive method, and this leads us to our 2 expert guests. October? Chuck?
That's hard to advise. I tried to deal with spirits peacefully, so I don't have as much experience in blunt force methods. But it should be possible.
It is definitely possible, let me assure you. I'm afraid the exact methods are a little out of my purview, but it has been done.
So, suppose we're committed to this method. How would we pull it off?
For starters, it would help to have some objects associated with Wench. Whatever ties him to this world could be used to harm him.
That sounds sensible. I once knew a woman who specialized in combing records for objects and places of importance to the deceased. She compiled documents for anchor points, which detail the person's perceived emotional connections with those objects and places and how they could be leveraged.
Smart. A little scary to reduce attachment to something that's systemic, but smart. The more you have on a spirit, the more you can affect it, for better or worse.
So we need to dive further into Wench's personal life?
Ew.
Sorry, guys. Knowledge is power when it comes to spirits.
I also advise you don't overlook any technology at your disposal either.
Really? And technology never works in the movies. Well, except spirit boxes and some other specific stuff.
Technology is a useful tool, but any tool is ineffective when you don't know how to use it. Trying to catch a ghost on camera is like installing a wind turbine in a place sheltered from the wind. There isn't anything wrong with the device, you're simply applying it incorrectly. Flailing in the dark.
Ghost turbine. Got it.
Really? Your takeaway from that is ghost turbine?
So, if we find an occult method of dealing with Wench, we should use whatever technology we have to implement it?
Precisely. There are some specifics to how it could work, but I believe between October and I, We could refine a process.
I'm all about experimentation.
Hey, me too.
Anyway, stay tuned because we will be right back with our guest.
Thanks for joining us, Lilo.
Oh, no problem. I owe October much more than a guest appearance anyway.
I've told you, you've got to stop it with that.
Eternal gratitude? Sorry, but no. That's how I roll.
Well, thank you anyway, Lilo.
Sure. It was my idea, after all. Kind of surreal to actually be here with all y'all.
I still can't believe you're a listener.
A lot of downtime in the lab. After dark is easy listening. And after October showed up, I realized I might be able to help out, considering she helped me out so much a couple of years ago with Sylvia.
I've heard this story, and I still can't believe it.
What?
Oh, you know what? What you did was dangerous.
Whatever.
Would you tell us the story, Lilo? Sure. It's half of why I'm here, after all.
Whenever you're ready.
Right. Well, I joined the faculty as a lab tech. It was a small team, just me and a few other junior researchers, the professor, and Sylvia. Sylvia was another lab tech, and she was, hyper-competitive. Like, insanely so. When I first arrived in the lab, I noticed that they had a chessboard set up in the corner. I commented on it, and the professor told me to ignore it unless I wanted to deal with Sylvia.
Sounds ominous.
Right? At the time, I just kind of shrugged it off. But then I met Sylvia. She was intense. Her work was immaculate, and she watched me like a hawk. You know, like she was waiting for me to mess up.
Hardly the best working conditions.
Probably not, but I was trying not to let it get to me. And one day she caught me looking at the chessboard, right? So she challenged me to a friendly game.
Some heavy air quotes going on there?
Oh, yeah. She was fiercely competitive, like I said. Unfortunately for her, I play chess competitively. She actually had to leave the room when I won. She was pissed. And it became a routine, right? Every day, she'd ask for a rematch. Sometimes I obliged. Sometimes I had too much work or whatever.
Did she ever win?
Nope. Came close a few times, for sure, but no wins. I didn't mind playing her. I just hated how mad she seemed to get every time she lost. So I started blowing her off more and more. And then one day, she didn't come to work. Turns out she'd been in a car accident on the way home.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was a shock to us all. I mean, I was somehow her closest friend, and I barely knew her, you know? It felt so strange working without her standing over me constantly. And then things got really weird.
She came back.
Yep. I mean, obviously I didn't jump straight to ghosts. I'm more of an Eve than a Finn.
Hey, unnecessary sideswipe.
No offense. But as time went on, well, there was no explanation for what I was seeing. Sylvia kept bringing the chessboard out of the cupboard and setting it up. She was always white, you know, so she kept making opening moves. I thought I was seeing things, honestly, but then the others started seeing it too. The professor even tried to throw the chessboard into the incinerator, but it got thrown back out at his head. He stopped trying after that.
Which is when you called me.
Technically, I tried to call your mother.
Yeah.
So I was not expecting a kid to show up on campus.
How old were you?
17.
It's like you were trying to get kidnapped.
Oh, get off my case, Mom.
I was desperate for help, but Seeing a high schooler kind of freaked me out, and I tried to send her home.
And I pointed out that, as far as I'm aware, with my mom gone, I'm the only psychic in Englewood.
So you were always like this?
Oh no, I was much worse.
I feel like I should mention that she was dressed in all black. A little goth kid.
I was a goth kid. Still am, really.
She wore me down, and so I brought her inside.
Like a stray cat?
Stray goth cat.
Whatever she was, she performed a seance, and that was when things got weird.
We've been there.
Sylvia had demands.
It was wild. The whole thing, it still doesn't feel real, but yeah, she had demands. Sylvia wanted to play one last game.
Wait.
October? Did you?
Tell me you didn't.
I didn't.
You liar.
Who, me?
What's happening?
October allowed her to play one last game, right? Gave her possession of her hand so she could play chess with you? Broke the circle of the seance?
Well, yeah.
That's like at least 3 seance rules she broke right there.
October!
Whoa! Hey!
So reckless.
Oh, come on. I had my reasons.
Yeah?
Sylvia was... she was so competitive in life. But in death, she realized that it didn't matter. None of it mattered. What had mattered is that she had been so close to forming a genuine friendship with Lilo, and her competitiveness had ruined it for her. This was a way for her to say goodbye to her only good relationship.
And it was a good game.
Lilo won.
Oh, did Sylvia take that well?
She did, actually.
She laughed and said, I never stood a chance, and then she was gone.
Last request.
Yep.
Something we definitely can't do with Lionel Wench.
Ew.
Yeah, seconded.
You really are up to date on the show, huh?
Yeah, of course.
Wild.
But the reason I came here today to tell you this story is because of something Sylvia said while she was, inside of October.
Something she said?
That ghost you seance, the, burnout.
James Black?
Yep, him. He said something that I guess jogged my memory. He said something about the void, right?
Yeah, he referred to floating in a void with others.
Which we suspect is the other ghost that disappeared and then reappeared.
Sylvia was relieved when we first got in contact with her. She said she worried she would be sucked down into the void with all the others if she wasn't careful. At the time, I didn't really think much of it, but...
No, that's good. If Sylvia knew about the thing that was taking the ghosts, 2-3 years ago?
2, yeah.
So whatever this thing is that's taking ghosts off the street is at least 2 years old.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing she said was that only the library was safe. Not to jump to conclusions, but...
The library is a safe haven for ghosts.
He'll do it for you.
Maybe, but I never heard anything about that.
Circumstantially, my headaches do tend to get better when I'm in the library.
Could be due to the quiet.
But worth looking into.
That's what I thought.
Well, Lilo, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. You've given us a lot to investigate.
Oh, please, it was a blast.
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hi there, intrepid mystery lovers. Yes, it's still me. I actually came on the podcast not just to share my story, but also to advertise the new opportunity starting up in the lab next month. eNomad, yes, that eNomad, are sponsoring several nascent chemical engineers through their new ePower the Future program. A program designed to put you through your paces, facilitate energy entrepreneurship, and give you a glimpse into what started CEO Nolan Frisk on his innovative energy initiative. You can find more details on the university website, but apply fast as spaces are limited and expected to fill quickly.
Welcome back, everyone. Finn, why don't you just go ahead?
We've been saving the best till last.
Uh-huh. Clear as mud there, bud.
We're going to try and contact someone who longtime listeners of the podcast will be very excited to hear from. The one, the only, Amber Reed.
For those of you who don't remember, Amber Reed was the editor of the Englewood edition, and a sleuth on the trail of the Brotherhood of Oak and Ash before they killed her to cover their tracks.
Allegedly. Right, yes, silly me. I should just let you defame an entire group of people.
It just feels bad when you say it.
Fine. October?
Allegedly.
Fine, allegedly.
The idea for contacting Amber came to me a few nights ago while I was out for my nightly constitutional.
Your what?
He left the dorm at like 10 p.m. to go get a pizza because his eating and sleep schedules are infinitely dumb.
And to get to the pizza place, you have to go past the back building.
Shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm telling the story.
Go on, Finn. You were getting yourself a pizza vagina?
You're the worst culprit.
Pizza vagina?
You've never had one?
Eve, stop hitting on October.
God. A pizza vagina is a weird calzone thing, but better.
Much, much better.
Anyway, I was out for my nightly constitutional, not getting a pizza vagina, thank you very much.
Liar.
When I walked past the aforementioned back building, I decided to take a seat and enjoy the full moon, the light of the stars.
The taste of your pizza vagina?
Anyway, as I was saying, I was sitting beneath the light of the moon when inspiration struck. If something is happening to our spooky campus friends, who better to ask about it than Amber Reed?
She's an excellent source. We know she pays attention to detail and has an inquiring mind.
And so, when I was out there, I pulled out my handy-dandy spirit box.
Ow! Are you dumb?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why'd you hit me?
Doing the spirit box alone is a bad idea. You know that.
I mean, yeah, but it's also the only way I discovered that Amber was out there.
So stupid.
Stupid, but keeps getting results, which is terrifying.
Shut up! I did it. It's done. We can't change the past. Besides, it was fine. And Amber Reed reached out.
What did she say?
When I asked her name, she said, Reed.
That's it?
No, I asked her if she could prove it, and she said, brother.
Ominous.
So we're going to try and contact Amber Reed in a more secure environment tonight?
And this week, we're prepared.
We have real candles, not birthday ones.
And maybe this time I won't get thrown from the room.
You take all the fun out of this, you know?
I would love to come out of this with all my limbs where they should be, actually.
Hey, come on. Dr. Sebastian fixed you up, right?
Yeah, but the stink eye was so annoying.
Shall we get this show on the road?
For the uninitiated, here's how this works. We sit in a circle holding hands. We have candles here to represent October's limbs and her soul. If the last candle goes out, we're fucked. We also aren't allowed to break the circle while October is being inhabited. The seance begins and ends with 2 halves of a song, and we have to sing the second half to end the ritual.
And what happens if the last candle goes out, exactly?
I'll be fully possessed.
And what do we do then?
Don't let it get that far.
Yeah, but what if it does get that far?
Panic?
Seriously, though, what do we do?
You'd have to convince the spirit to get out of me.
And if we don't?
Let's not think about that.
So, are we ready?
We're all good on the recording end. October?
Yep, I'm good.
No headaches today?
I'm fine.
Do you think it's a good idea for Chuck to still be here?
Wait, what did I do?
You need me to write you a list?
You used to be a brother. Amber was killed by the Brotherhood.
Ah! Oh, damn it!
What was that?
Your girlfriend is a bitch.
Finn wishes.
I am so lost.
Lady Killjoy keeps trying to break my hand.
Oh no. If I was trying to break your hand, it would be broken.
Can we get on with this, please?
Yes, please, October. Ignore my childish co-host. Ow, Eve!
Kagome, Kagome, the bird in the cage, bird in the cage. When, oh, when will it come out?
Every time, it still somehow gets worse.
Yeah.
Amber Reed? Are you there? Can you hear us?
What now?
Amber? Are you out there?
That's what's now. Amber, is that you?
Amber?
Where am I?
Amber Reed, is that you?
Yes, that's my name. Where am I?
This is a recording studio on campus. Do you think you can answer a few questions?
Oh God, you can't trust them, they're dangerous.
Are you talking about the Brotherhood, Amber?
The Brotherhood? Oh God, did I die?
Yes, you did. We're so sorry, Amber.
We need your help. Do you remember what happened to you?
They killed me.
Shit.
We know, Amber. And we're in the process of bringing them to justice.
We promise.
No,
There was something unknowable that they were protecting.
And what were they protecting?
Some creature, an entity that they didn't want me to know about. I was going to expose them.
Oh no.
And that's why they killed you?
Oh God, I was so cold.
We're so sorry, Amber. Do you want us to stop? We can let you go if this is too much.
I want to help.
What happened to you after you died, Amber? Do you remember?
There was something after. For a while I was free and fine, but then I was trapped.
Trapped? As a ghost?
In a void, floating.
Isn't that what James said?
They kept us together. But the Watchers left for a while, and now some of us, we're free again. Something went wrong. The entity.
Shit, what do we do?
Sorry, Professor. We're in the middle of something.
What? I can't hear you. Have you locked the door?
If I say you'll find me.
That's bad when that happens, right?
Amber, calm down. We're gonna let you go. We promise. He won't find you here, okay?
I can't. I have to run. I can't go back there. I won't.
Don't hurt her.
Shut up!
No, please!
Can we all just calm down? Amber, please.
We have to call it. Chuck, don't fucking move. Don't break the circle. Finn!
No, I have to go.
Finn!
The crane and the turtle slipped away. Who is behind you now? Hi, Professor.
Finn? What's going on in here?
Oh, you know, podcast shenanigans.
Finn, you can't bar the door, and you certainly cannot have candles in here. This room has no windows. This is a fire trap waiting to happen. What were you thinking?
Sorry, Professor.
I am responsible for all of you when you're in here. Also, I feel as though I now have to say this, no satanic rituals.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
I'd prefer not to know what it was, but I will remind you that parapsychology is no longer a class taught at Englewood, and for good reason. Some things are better left undisturbed.
Para what?
The study of psychic phenomena and ghost stuff. Remember?
For your own good, leave the dead at their rest.
Sure, Professor.
Good. I'll see you next week, Finn. Take care, everyone.
That was weird.
You can say that again.
Are you alright?
I'm a little sore, but I've been worse.
Okay, we need a break at least. Let's cut to an ad, Finn.
Stay tuned after this commercial break, everyone. And we're back. Sorry about that interruption, folks, but our generous and poorly timed benefactor has been appeased and October is recovering.
Should we have let Chuck take October home?
I think it's fine. The two of them seem to be getting along pretty well, actually.
Honestly, that makes it feel even weirder.
We can check on her as soon as we're done recording. She'll be fine. She's dealt with way worse than that before. Heck, we recorded her dealing with way worse than that.
Not by much, Finn. God. Amber sounded terrified.
Yeah, maybe Chuck shouldn't have been here for this given everything. But what was all that business about her being trapped?
Could the Brotherhood have contained her somehow? Chuck did say that they called in cleanup crews whenever there were ghosts on campus.
I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's not like we have Ghostbusters technology, Eve. Look what we have to work with here. The most expensive ghost hunting equipment you can buy is only able to track a ghost. The spirit box alone was like $100, and sure, you can argue that's just our capitalist hellscape at work.
Definitely is.
But that doesn't change the fact that no matter what we're working with, we're still working within the spirit's terms. The spirit itself still has to be willing to reach out for it to even work, and even then, you're meeting them halfway between two planes of existence, and it's always on their terms. They can duck out whenever they want. Even something like Wench that can actively interact with our space can still disappear into the ether without a second thought.
Well, they must have been doing it some way. I doubt our victim was lying to us.
Still trying to put the pieces together, but something is up. Amber was certainly the most straightforward with us, but all the ghosts we came across are acting weird in some way or another.
Right. Folks at home, I know we talked about our little ghost hunting adventures already, but we've discovered a surprising amount of them lately.
And it's not like a lot, but it's very much one of those I'd have to Nichols situations.
Of course, we've got our debunked cases lightning round once again.
Prank calls, jumpy freshmen living away from home for the first time, creaky buildings, etc.
But much more than I expected turned out to have some truth to them. In some cases, it was easy to help them. We had an old woman living near Plank Road just off campus.
She just wanted to have one more pleasant conversation and poof. Gone. In and out, 10 minutes. Soul at peace.
There was a former teacher haunting around the school bell tower. Just an academic who wanted to pass on some knowledge before he left.
Slightly longer conversation with that one, but also not very difficult. Then there was the kid at the steps of the science building that didn't even know he had passed on. Another conversation, you get the idea. Most of them moved on fairly quickly.
But none of them had been talked about by students until recently. Sure, the rumours of Sycamore Hall, Lionel Wench, and a smattering of other stories, but nothing to this extent. Where have they all come from? Why are they talkative now? What happened to them?
All great questions, Eve, but I think you missed the most interesting one.
Which is?
Why are they all leaving so easily?
Why is that particularly interesting? If I were dead, I wouldn't want to stick around.
Well, yes, but clearly they didn't want to move on. Unfinished business is complicated stuff, Eve. Heck, Amber probably won't rest until every Brotherhood member is behind bars, and yet multiple spirits are fine with moving on just like that? After having something so important that they defied being flung off the mortal coil?
Well, maybe time just gave them some perspective.
Or maybe whatever the Brotherhood did to them... You saw Amber. She was terrified and anxious of even the thought of being sent back where they had her. All of these things. People popping up everywhere all of a sudden, scared to talk about where they've been and willing to move on. What spooks a spook?
An entity?
Maybe. I mean, she seemed far more scared of the Brotherhood than the entity.
Yes, but she also said the Brotherhood protected the entity. And for that matter, did you see Chuck's face when Amber brought it up?
No.
He's the whitest man I've ever met, and even then, he still went even paler the moment she started talking about it. He knows something and he's not telling us.
It's a definite possibility, but it's also possible he could have been worried about October. He seemed really concerned.
Finn, trust me. I know a guilty face when I see one.
Well, let's confront him about it then. I'm sorry I wasn't focused on Chuck very much. I was a little preoccupied with, And, well, that's our time today, folks.
What?
Thank you all for...
Finn, we have at least 5 more minutes before time.
That's what ads are for!
Finn!
I need to talk to you off of recording right now.
Right, well, I guess that's our episode then.
As always, thank you to Professor Hannessey for letting us use the recording studio and for being such an avid supporter of our show.
Right, so long.
Farewell.
And remember... Shit, what's a good line?
Doesn't matter, we'll edit it in later like we always do. And we're out.
Okay, what's going on?
Have you noticed anything different about Hannessey lately?
Different how? I mean, he seems kind of burnt out.
It's more than burnt out. It feels like he's on autopilot. I mean, he seems lost lately, leaning on his TAs and assistant directors way more than he used to, not sure where he's going when he walks.
It's odd, I guess, but just seems like depression, doesn't it?
That's what I thought, but he's also been verging in on us a lot lately, as if he's checking up on us.
His timing was pretty spot on. Like he was trying to catch us.
Right? And he immediately told us to knock it off with the occult stuff. He knew that's what this show was going to be after we re-signed the paperwork. Why does it make him so antsy now?
This all started right after the Brotherhood, right?
So you're on board? This is weird?
Yeah, weird. Nothing definitive, but we should keep an eye on him, I think.
What if he's psychically sensitive?
I feel like you would have noticed by now, having October for comparison.
October is a super magnet, though. That's 1 in a million. Most people who are psychically sensitive have, like, 1/4 of the sensitivity she has, and he never has to go near the science building, so he wouldn't get the migraines, I don't think.
Shit, I don't know. This is your area of expertise, not mine. But we should definitely keep an eye on him.
Right. Okay, I can start taking advantage of his office hours, come up with a reason to ask about homework, upcoming plays, whatnot.
And I can find excuses to talk to him about the podcast. Hopefully this is nothing, but if you're right...
Alright, I'll ask October and we can figure out a game plan on how to tell. Come on, let's go check on her. I'll shut this down.
Well, hurry up.
You just finished listening to Englewood After Dark, Episode 20. Remember to check the link in the description for our Indiegogo campaign if you haven't already. We're really excited about Season 2 and would love to be able to continue the Englewood After Dark series. If you'd like to support us in other ways, please drop a like or comment on your listening app of choice, or check out our community Discord server to connect with other Englewood listeners. Link in the description. This episode starred Dennis Ortman as Finn Nightingale, Hannah Brown as Eve Pemberly, Angie Min as October Jones, Ostie Hobbs as Charles Huntington III, Lyle Michael Pepperell as Nigel Hannessey, Monica Webb as Lilo Meyer, and Kat Sadler as Amber Reed. Written and sound designed by Hannah Brown, Dennis Ortman, and A. Rose. Special thanks to the talented Athan for our on-air music and Nicholas Gasparini for the opening theme.